with me is a 2002 F350 with the 7.3 liter diesel engine. Where am I? Well, I'm behind this absolutely massive truck. Well, today I'm rather excited to review a truck, and that's because this isn't any ordinary truck. It's an F350 with the legendary 7.3 liter V8 engine. And I'll get to why it's legendary in just a second. First, what is an F350? Well, it is the third step in the Ford lineup. You got F-150, F-250, and then F-350. For such a large truck, it needs a good engine, and the 7.3 liter is the one I would recommend. As I just stated, this is a diesel engine which is turbocharged. The 7.3 liter V8 has 250 horsepower and 505 pound-feet of torque. That allows this F350 to tow up to 12,500 pounds. Some owners do report towing more. That also allows this truck to have a payload of 4,100 pounds. Again, while some owners report this can handle a little more. While those are great numbers, what really makes this engine so legendary? Well, that would be how reliable it is and how long its life expectancy is. This engine can last 400,000 to 500,000 miles, and a lot of owners report more. Of course, that's with well-maintained examples, but if you keep up with it, I wouldn't be surprised if you get there. And that's the most major selling point, I would say, of the 7.3 liter engine. It does what an engine should and does it better. You can also option that engine with an automatic or a manual transmission, whichever one you would prefer. Now that we've talked about the drivetrain, let's talk about the looks. As I've said before, this is the third step in the F-Series lineup, and I would say the F-150 is the only one that looks so different from this. The 250 all the way up to the 550 all look relatively the same, just a little larger. And I have to say, the F350 has aged much better than its counterparts, the Ram 3500 and the Silverado 3500. When these first came out, Ford seriously nailed it. This design is fantastic and holds up extremely well today. First off, the front end. That's usually the make or break of a good design, and I have to say this 350 was a make, if that makes any sense. This front end is the perfect blend of boxy and sort of circular. What I mean by that is there's no harsh edges, but it does appear to be more of a boxy design. I love how the hood's raised a bit over the grille, and then on the headlights it's lowered a bit. Speaking of the grille, I really like this grille, and it kind of continued on through a few models, at least how this design looks. Moving along now to the side of the truck, there's a few things I want to point out. First off, up here there is some orange markers which do look nice, and you can option those on most trucks. But anyway, what's different about this side is these door handles. I like how they're almost flush with the door panels themselves. Not only do they look nice, but they also function nice, and it's very comfortable to open up this door. Also, if you had gloves on or anything on your hands, this would also be very easy to open. Another thing I love about this truck is how this window here takes a dip down near the mirror. It really helps out if you need to see anything lower on the ground and see what you're towing. Along on the back, there's just more positive. This bed size is the 6 foot 9 inches long bed, but you can also option this with the 8 foot bed. They call this one the short bed and the 8 foot one the long bed. Back here, there's nothing super different, but I do like these taillights and this F350 badge back here. One other thing to point out is the sliding rear window. Some trucks were optioned with it and some weren't. Now onto the interior of the 2002 F350. Keep in mind, this is a 2002 F350. It's not going to be optioned with too much technology. That's not to say the interior doesn't have some stuff. It has an AM/FM radio with a CD player and cassette player. Under that is your AC and climate controls, and then next to that is a power outlet for your phone or whatever you want to charge. On the opposite side, you have your dial to select 2-wheel drive, 4 high, or 4 low. On the other side of the steering wheel, there are your headlight controls, and then next to that on the door itself are your window controls. Some amenities in this truck include 6 cup holders. Unfortunately, 2 of them won't be able to be used if you are having someone sit in this middle seat. And yes, I said middle seat. This truck can seat 6 people. There's a bench seat both in the front and in the rear. There's also plenty of storage space. On the 2 front doors, there are 2 different pockets to put whatever you'd like. This could fit stuff that's not too thick in there, like some books, screwdrivers, or even some other tools. And then for other storage, you have your glove box, or you could use the rear seats. And then obviously, the truck bed itself. Lastly, I want to talk about the quality of this interior. It's actually not bad for it being mostly plastic and cloth. These seats are rather comfortable and look nice. I like these two different colors that it has, and that continues on to the dash and the door panels. But as far as the plastic parts of this interior go, they're well put together, and in fact, there's not a lot of panel gaps. The only ones I would say would be between the door and the dashboard itself. But as far as the plastic parts of the interior go, they seem to hold up well, and they look good. Usually, I hate purely plastic interiors, but I don't hate this one at all. Overall, I really like this interior. Lastly, let's hear how this diesel sounds. I've got to say, I love the sound of a diesel truck. Well, I think it's pretty obvious what I think about the Ford F350. I love it. And what makes me love it more is that this comes with the 7.3-liter engine. Now, to be clear, not all of them come with that engine, but this is the best option. There's other engine options like the 5.4 or the 6.0, but I wouldn't say those are nearly as good as the 0.3. But anyway, the F350 itself is a great truck. It's capable to do everything from work to even daily driving. A lot of people think you're going to be struggling when trying to drive this in a regular-sized lane, but in reality, that's not true. It may be tight in something like a parking lot or a parking garage, but otherwise, it's fine to drive. Despite its weight at 6,800 pounds, it's not hard to control either. It's very easy to handle on the roads, and Ford really made a perfect blend between work truck and civilian use truck. And yes, the F-150 is the most civilian truck, but the 350 can still do the same. To sum it up, I highly recommend the F350, especially with the 7.3-liter engine. If you were considering to buy one of these trucks before this video, I hope this video helped you out on making that decision. If you find one with relatively low miles, anything under 200,000, that was well taken care of, I do recommend it. These 7.3-liter engines are almost indestructible. With any other engine, make sure it's well taken care of and try to make sure that whatever's been done to it has been done properly. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. If you're interested in cars like this, check out carricksautos.com and browse their many cool cars that you will fall in love with. They have everything from your next daily driver to your next exotic, and even cool off-road toys. You won't regret checking out their website or coming in today to Carrick's Autos in Plano, Texas.